What if the most anticipated comeback in global music wasn't just about the music, but about something unfolding behind the scenes that almost no one expected? What if, at the exact moment millions of fans were counting down to the return of BTS, a different kind of conversation was quietly taking place at the highest level of an entire country? Stay with this, because the deeper you go into this story, the more you begin to realize this is not just about a concert. It's about a moment where global attention, national responsibility, and cultural power collide in a way that rarely happens. For years, this comeback has been building. Every announcement, every update, every small hint has led to this exact point. The return of all 7 members together again is not just a performance. It's a reunion that carries emotional weight for millions of people around the world. Fans have waited through uncertainty, through silence, through a long period where everything felt paused. And now, as the date of their massive event in Seoul gets closer, the energy surrounding it has reached a level that feels almost overwhelming. Social media is filled with anticipation, fan communities are more active than ever, and the entire world seems to be watching. But then something shifted, something that instantly made people stop and look a little closer. The president of South Korea, Lee Jae-myung, finally spoke out, and what he said changed the entire tone of the situation. In an official briefing, he called for maximum preparedness surrounding the BTS event, emphasizing the importance of safety and the need to be ready for any potential risks, including terror-related scenarios. Now, it's important to understand this clearly. There is no confirmed attack, no specific verified threat aimed at this event. This statement is about preparation, not panic. But when a president uses language like this in a public setting, especially connected to a single event, it sends a message that cannot be ignored, because suddenly, this is no longer just about music. This is about scale, visibility, and responsibility. This is about what happens when an event becomes so large, so globally significant, that it requires attention at the highest level of government. Hundreds of thousands of fans are expected to gather in one place, creating one of the largest live audiences seen in recent years. At the same time, millions of viewers from across the world are expected to tune in, turning this into a global broadcast moment. The numbers alone are enough to change everything, and when the scale increases, so does the need for control. Security preparations for this event have been increased on a massive scale. Thousands of personnel are being deployed, including police officers, emergency responders, and specialized units trained for large-scale operations. Advanced monitoring systems are being set up to track movement and ensure crowd safety in real time. Command centers are being established to coordinate responses instantly if needed. Medical teams are on standby, ready to respond to any situation, no matter how small. Every detail is being considered. Every scenario is being planned, not because something is expected to happen, but because nothing can be left unprepared. If you're still following the story, this is where things start to become even more interesting, because there's a deeper reason behind all of this that many people are only beginning to understand. South Korea has learned from past experiences when it comes to large gatherings. Previous incidents have shaped how authorities approach events like this, leading to a system that prioritizes prevention above all else. So when an event of this magnitude is announced, especially one connected to a group like BTS, the response is immediate, detailed, and extremely serious. But that still leaves one important question. Why did the president choose to speak now? Why at this exact moment, when anticipation is already at its peak? Some believe it's about reassurance, a way to show both fans and the global audience that everything is under control. Others see it as a strategic move, ensuring transparency before speculation can grow. Because in a world where information spreads instantly, silence can create uncertainty. By speaking out directly, the government sets the tone and defines the narrative: prepared, alert, and control. Still, for fans, the emotional impact is undeniable. There's excitement, of course. The return of BTS is something that has been long awaited, and for many, it represents more than just music. It represents connection, identity, and a shared experience that spans across cultures and borders. But alongside that excitement, there is also a sense of intensity, a feeling that this moment carries more weight than expected. And maybe that's because it does, because this is not just a comeback. This is a global event. Think about how rare it is for an artist to reach this level of influence. To create a moment that requires coordination at a national level. To bring together millions of people at the same time, both physically and digitally. That kind of impact goes beyond entertainment. It becomes something cultural, something symbolic, something that represents more than just the individuals on stage. And yet, despite everything happening behind the scenes, the core of this story remains simple. 7 members, 1 stage, a moment years in the making. When the lights finally turn on and the music begins, everything else will fade into the background. The security measures, the preparations, the statements, they will all exist behind the scenes, invisible to most viewers. What the world will see is what it has always seen, a group that knows how to connect, how to perform, and how to create moments that stay with people long after they're over. But now you see the full picture. You understand that this moment is supported by an entire system working quietly to ensure everything goes exactly as planned. And that understanding changes how you experience it. Because you're not just watching a performance, you're witnessing a global moment being carefully managed in real time. And as the countdown continues, the anticipation only grows stronger. What will this moment look like when it finally happens? Will it meet expectations? Or will it go beyond them in ways no one can predict? Because if there's one thing that has always defined BTS, it's their ability to turn moments into history. So if you've made it this far, you're already part of the story. You're already seeing the layers that most people don't notice. And as more updates emerge, as the event gets closer, and as the world prepares to watch, one thing becomes clear. This is not just another concert. This is not just another comeback. This is something bigger, something that connects millions of people across the world in a single moment. And just when it seems like everything has already been revealed, there's still another layer that makes this moment even more intense. Because beyond the scale, beyond the security, and beyond the global spotlight, there's a silent pressure that can't be measured, expectation. Not just from fans, but from the world itself. Everyone is waiting to see how BTS will return, how they will redefine their presence, and whether this comeback will once again shift the entire industry. That kind of expectation creates a different kind of weight, one that goes far beyond the stage. At the same time, the statement from lead Jae-myung continues to echo, not as a warning, but as a reminder of how significant this moment truly is. It shows that this isn't just an entertainment event. It's a global gathering that requires awareness, coordination, and responsibility at every level. And in a strange way, that only adds to the anticipation because it confirms what many already feel. This is not ordinary. As the final hours approach, the question isn't just what will happen on stage, but how this entire moment will be remembered. Because when everything comes together, when the lights rise and the music begins, it won't just be a performance. It will be a moment that defines an era.